What's up, Elite Army? This is your kinda well, kinda toxic host, Sarah Rittendale, bringing you another episode of Wellish. Elite, what the hell is up? Get ready to start your week with the motivation that you need to carry yourself through and feeling like the best version of yourself. That's the whole point of this, you know? We want to listen to the episode at the beginning of the week and then have that fucking mentality through the end of the week. And then when it starts to deplete a little bit, I got you again. We got another episode. So today we're going to be talking about the fear of living an average life. We're talking about this because it is and was a major fear of mine, but I don't believe that I'm alone in it. There's literally no way that I am the only one that thinks like this. So I wanted to talk about it. It's such a real thing between social media and the access that we have to people's wonderful lives. But honestly, even without social media, we always are comparing ourselves to other people. We always are looking at other people's lives and thinking like, wow, that's really great what they got. I wish that I had that too. And so today what we're going to be talking about is that fear, breaking it down a little bit. And really, by the end of this episode, I want the fear to almost feel dumb to have. Like that by the end of this episode, you're going to be like, wow, it's actually like kind of ridiculous that I'm trying so hard and making myself miserable just because I'm so afraid of living a quote unquote average life. It isn't dumb. It's a very valid fear. I just want to get that out there because I'm going to say it's valid because, you know, your girl failed that. So that makes it okay. But for real, it's valid because you don't want to fail. We don't want to go through life feeling like we didn't live the life that we wanted. We want to chase our dreams and live up to our potential. And we don't want to be those people that you hear when they're fucking like 60 years old being like, yeah, I didn't chase my dream. And now my life sucks. Like, I don't want to be that. You know what I mean? I don't want to get to the end of my life and regret the way I lived it. So I feel very passionately about this idea to not live an average life and to do whatever it takes to prevent that from happening. So it's very valid. But honestly, what I'm learning is it's unnecessary. We just don't need to do that to ourselves. You're creating more havoc in your mind and almost preventing it from happening even more by having this mindset, by having this fear of living an average life, by trying to work your ass off to be this greatness, godlike creature that has this wonderful fucking life. I think for me, this fear started maybe post-college. So it hasn't been that long. But I mean, I've always, and this is going to sound so God complexy, you know, but I've always felt like I was meant for more. Like I always felt like I would do something great with myself. And then as I continued to get older, I realized that nothing is really happening. And so that fear grows and that fear makes me feel like I'll never amount to anything, that my life will be boring and it won't be what I dreamed of it to be. And like we talked about at the beginning, I'll end up getting old and regretting my entire life. I fear this in several aspects of my life, like my job. I'm working in insurance full time right now. I don't love that. You know what I mean? It's great. I love my coworkers. I love my boss. I love like what I do because it's super simple and I work remote. So that's great. But essentially, financially, it's not awesome. So I would love to improve in that area too. You know, I went to school for journalism. I would love to carry that out somehow, but I genuinely have zero idea of how to do that. And when I think about it for more than 2 minutes, it makes me spiral. You know, like this is one of my number one fucking spirals is what I'm going to be doing with the rest of my life. And if I'm going to be fulfilled doing it, and the fear that I never will be. Again, the fear of just like living an average mundane life. And the other day I sat down with my friend Sam, who's also elite. What up, sister? I was talking to her about my fear of an average life. And with her, I was actually talking about it in regards to another aspect that I'll talk about in a second. She's modeling right now and she's working a couple side jobs to sustain herself while she built her modeling career. But she had gone to school for biology. And so she was saying how she might want to go to school to be a nurse potentially, because that was her original plan. And I remember just feeling so fucking jealous that she had a plan. Like, she had something to fall back on. She's got a really good career that she could turn to if she needed to. And I just felt so jealous because I just feel so much so like I have no fucking idea what I want to do with my life. And I'm so tired of that feeling like I'm constantly searching for what I could be doing career-wise to grow who I am, to feel fulfilled, to have a job that I feel proud of. But, it's like then I fall into the pit of my job being good and my job being easy that I don't leave. That's one aspect that I really drive myself nuts on. The other one is having kids or getting married, like buying a house, like that whole like white picket fence life kind of mentality. There's nothing wrong with that mentality. The mentality is great. Like, all power to you. If you don't have this fear, don't take offense to this, because you fucking shouldn't. I'm literally jealous of you. I don't know why I think that if I do that, I will be doomed to all mundanity. Is that a word? I'll be doomed that my life will forever be boring and I'll just be like everybody else and everything will suck. I'm just sick of feeling that way. You know what I mean? And I'm sick of feeling like if I do those things, that means that I also can't live a great life, because really that's the truth. Is you can do these bare minimum things, like, not that it's bare minimum to do this, but like just saying like the basics. You can have the basics. You can have a good job. You can create a family. You can buy a house, whatever the situation is. But that doesn't mean that you can't add more to your life. You can't have a full life because you do these things. It does make it a little bit harder, especially when you have children, or so I hear, but that doesn't mean that you stop. That doesn't mean that you can't ever achieve anything. That doesn't mean that you can't grow who you are. But I have this fear that, I don't know, I guess I just didn't realize that before. I didn't put the two and two together. I felt like you either picked one life or the other life, and that was it. Because think about people that have done great things, like Oprah. Oprah said she couldn't have done her career and been where she is now if she had had children. She does have a life partner, but she doesn't have children because she chose her career over doing that. But there are so many people in the world that have created those bare minimum, I'm just going to call it that, those bare minimum things, have done those bare minimum things, buy the house, have the husband, have the kids. They still have all of these achievements and live these great lives. Like the other day, I saw Megan Fox on Call Her Daddy. I watched a reel of it, and she mentioned that she had 3 kids. I had no fucking idea Megan Fox had 3 kids, and she's Megan fucking Fox. That's crazy. She's a awesome person. She's accomplished so many things. She's such a big name, and I had no idea that she had 3 children. Like, that is insane to me. So everybody really does this, it's just a part of making life meaningful, but that doesn't mean that who you are has to stop. And that is what I fear the most. I think I got this idea from 2 areas. Like I said, first, glamorized social media. We're constantly exposed to people living these like kick-ass, wonderful lives, and it makes you feel like you could always be doing more. My biological brain's reaction to seeing people doing things that I want to do is, wow, I want that too. Is, how could I do that? Oh, there's something wrong with me if I am not doing that, because clearly, based on me liking it and a million other people following and liking it, it means that it's the right thing to do. And so I end up striving for that, whether it's conscious or subconscious. I'm thinking that that's the standard that I have to reach. Otherwise, I fail. If I don't reach that expectation, then I'm just like everybody else, and I'm just lame. Then I just am gonna live a not fulfilled life. I also get the mentality from seeing people copy and paste this life over and over and over and over and over again. And I don't know why I have such a complex with being fucking unique. I don't know what that is about. That is something for me to explore in therapy, except your girl hasn't gone to therapy in almost a month and a half because she can't afford it. But I see the same fucking post over and over and over again. The fucking engagement pictures and the baby pictures and from every single motherfucking person on Facebook. And it's just so copy paste that I don't want to be that way. But at the end of the day, like that is the basics of human existence. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have individuality, and I want individuality. I want what I do in my life to be fulfilling, and I feel that if everybody else is doing it, then it's not special and therefore not fulfilling. Everybody, even the most glamorous people, are living a quote unquote average life. The difference between the glamorous person and the everyday person is that they have more to show. They have more accomplishments. They have more attention. Whatever the situation is, they have somehow amassed people looking at them or achieving something. So it really makes me question, what would I constitute as success in not living an average life? And then what I do is I gaslight myself into thinking that I can't come up with that answer only because I haven't been exposed to anything of the sort. It's not in my consciousness. It's not in my repertoire to achieve greatness, to achieve glamour, to achieve any of these like high status things, because I've never known anybody like that. There's nobody in my inner circle that's like that. So it's not possible for my brain to wrap its mind around what being successful in not living an average life would look like. But I can dream of it. I can think of what I want to accomplish in life, and I've never experienced or known anybody to experience it, but I can pick specific things that I would like to achieve in my lifetime. I just had an epiphany because like if I am thinking about what I want to achieve, it's in specifics, you know? And what's going on in my head with this fear is overarching fear. It's leaving it in the shitstorm of your mind that it makes it just this feeling of fear of unfulfillment. And when I think of what it means to have a not average life, it's this like idea in my brain that I can't actually put words to. It's more of a feeling. I feel like I'll feel proud and abundant and happy and all of the things that, you know, you want to feel. It's not necessarily that I'm thinking in specifics, but when I point that out to myself, like I know what things I want to accomplish, I could think of those things in my head. That would be specific things. And when I think of those specific things, I could begin to work towards those specific things compared to getting lost in the feelings that are happening in my mind and in my body. So what would I constitute as being successful and not living an average life? I suppose it would be having a job that I really love. It would be accomplishing something, like let that be, you know, the podcast gets a lot of attention, or writing a book, or making enough money that I don't have to check my bank account every 4 seconds, that I could buy clothes when I want to, I could buy food when I want to, I could travel more. That being another thing in living an average life, like I want to be able to experience and go to a ton of places. Because when I ask myself what an average life looks like, it's a life that you just are doing the same thing every day. It's like Groundhog Day. You're not doing a lot with your life. You don't have accomplishments to talk about. You don't have a lot to be proud of. It's just like this constant feeling of that there's things that you want to do in your life, but that you don't have anything to show for it. I would constitute success in not living an average life has done a lot, that has accomplished a lot, that has experienced a lot. And I'm sick of setting myself up for feelings of failure and disappointment because I don't reach these certain levels of not average life that I want to achieve just in my day to day. That at this point, 25 years old, I've been out in the world since 22, that I feel holy shit when I put it in that perspective. I feel stupid as hell for being this afraid because I've literally only been in the real world for like a couple fucking years. But that I feel like at this point I should have accomplished so much more. I should be at least on a path to accomplishing more. And so I beat myself up relentlessly for this. And I'm sick of doing that to myself, that I live every single day pissed at who I am because I'm not on that trek yet, or that I haven't figured out what I want to do yet, or that whatever, that I'm still living. I'm afraid that as I continue to progress through my life, that I'm just going to do the mundane basic things and that I won't ever accomplish anything great. And therefore that will mean I've lived an average life. at the end of the day, and then maybe this sounds like victim mentality, maybe this sounds not like somebody that would say, get in there and take control of your life. Like I feel like I do pretty often. I feel though, I just want to be happy and live a fulfilled life. You know what I mean? Like I just want to experience my life and enjoy it. At the end of the day, that is what is most important to me. I want to make choices that make me happy in the moment and trust that those choices that make me happy in the moment will lead to long-term happiness in the future. I want to trust myself to make the right choices for me today that will lead to the life that I want to live in the future. But I want to enjoy those moments now. I want to make choices now that make me feel good now, that I'm not living in this state of waiting for the good life to come because it's always just today. It's never tomorrow or yesterday. And you're never going to reach this point of like, well, now I've crossed the threshold and I have arrived, and be like conscious of it, because you're always just going, it's always just going to be today. That's the way that it goes. It's always just going to be right in this moment. And I want to enjoy the right in this moment. When I break it down, I really feel less afraid, you know? I almost feel like I fucking said at the beginning of this, which is so crazy that it's come full circle. And I really feel like I've made myself feel this way. So hopefully I've helped some of you feel this way too, is that I almost feel dumb for having this fear that every time I voice it out loud, I realize that it's like stupid to feel this way. And again, it's valid. It's not stupid. You know, there's things that you want to accomplish, and it's just a means of you trying to create that. But at the end of the day, I just feel like, God, like how silly to beat myself up so bad and put so much pressure on myself when it's really completely unnecessary. Because when I think of it out loud, you know, I have that feeling, but then when I think about it in my head, it makes me feel so liberated that I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to live like, yeah, I'm going to be unique. Yeah, I'm going to do great things. Yeah, I'm going to do all this stuff because I have this driven mentality, this motivated mentality to not live an average life. And so I get confused because I feel proud of that work ethic and feel proud of that driven mentality, that I can convince myself that having this fear of the average life is contributing to that, and that it's not actually detrimental and me beating myself up and putting too much pressure on myself and causing me to actually not enjoy my life and not have fun in everyday moments and not feel fulfilled with what's happening in my life right now. It's almost as though I lie to myself to make myself feel this sense of accomplishment, to make myself feel like I'm doing something great by me by beating myself up and being so hard on myself. I'm done lying to myself. If you had asked me why I have this fear of living an average life, my answer would have been because I'm a high achiever. I have high goals for myself and high expectations for myself. And I've set my bar high and I plan to achieve that bar so that when I'm old, I can feel proud of the life that I've lived. But the truth is, the deeper underlying meaning is, I am just trying to gain a sense of fulfillment. I just want a sense of pride in my life. I want happiness in my life. I want to feel good about my life. I want to accomplish things in my life. And that is the truth. It's not this crazy feeling of being average and comparing myself to other people and that I'm doing something better than anybody else. It's that I personally, regardless of anything else, want to live this life that I feel proud of. Penny, my therapist, checked me real quick when I talked to her about this. I remember she said to me, who am I to determine what an average life is? Like, who am I to determine what that looks like for somebody else and for myself? Your brain didn't evolve with the motive to live the best life possible that's going to be the most Instagrammable, but it is only trying to accomplish these basic needs and standards that you've set for yourself, that you would like to accomplish and utilize in the life that you've been granted and given. And if I spend enough time in this beating myself mentality, then I can convince myself that I'm working to achieve what I'm trying to achieve. That if I let that mentality go, if I let go of that fear, if I just leave it up to fate, if I release the reins, that it will never happen for me. When the truth is, that's not who I am. Obviously, if I have a passion to accomplish something, I'm going to accomplish it. And if I don't, it's because in that moment, I didn't want to. I didn't have that drive. It wasn't something I truly was passionate about, because anything that you're truly passionate about, you will do, you will accomplish. And if I spend all of my time beating myself up for not living up to the bar that I have set, or the expectation that I have set for myself, or feeling like I'm failing in some way because I haven't reached a certain level of achievement by a certain point in time, then guess what? I'm not achieving that deeper meaning of what I truly, genuinely want to achieve, of living a fulfilled life, by shitting on everything that I have right now. If I can appreciate and enjoy everything that I'm experiencing, I will enjoy my life. I will feel fulfilled, but I have to create the life that I want. I have to set myself up on the path to do things that will make me feel fulfilled. And then I have to be fulfilled by them. I have to allow them to fulfill me. I can't say that this still is not good enough. Trust me, I got my back. You have your back. We are not going to let ourselves live a life that we don't want to live. At any moment, at any point in your life that you want to change, you can change. You can do something different. Don't sit here and focus and dwell on what you've done so far, because that's not going to get you anywhere. What you have to do is focus on where you are now and where you want to move, where you want to go from here. Enjoy moments as they are. Be who you want to be. I know that I'm not going to live in some Groundhog Day loop. It might look that way because I know that consistency leads to results, but at the end of the day, I'm not doing, I know. I will not allow myself, no matter what mentality that I have, whether I beat myself up or I choose to live peacefully, I will not allow myself to live a life that I don't like. I will continue to make choices as life progresses that will fulfill me in small and big ways. All right, my little brain hostages, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to check me out on Instagram and TikTok for daily tips to become the best version of yourself. You can get my Instagram at sarah.rittendale. My TikTok is at Sarah Rittendale. And then you can head over to Wellish's Instagram for the same vibe. But also, if you have any questions or stories that you'd like to submit to the show, that's going to be at Wellish Podcast. Take a step back from a bird's eye view and think of yourself and how she thinks about living her life. You know that she is not going to let you slip. Think about how much she thinks about this stuff. Think about how much she wants you to succeed. Think about everything that she wants to accomplish, big or small. You're not going to let you slip through the cracks. You got this. Do not forget you are elite as fuck. Make sure your week kicks ass, and I will talk to you guys next Monday.